Creepy stranger won't leave me alone. So recently I just bought a house and everything seemed fine at first. All until one Tuesday I was backing up from my garage when I saw a guy leaning against a Toyota Camry staring my car down. I pull my car out and roll down my window to ask him if he needs anything and he just says, "No sir, have a good day." I then asked him politely if he could leave and he didn't respond. He just stared at me for a good 30 seconds. I started to get out of my car and confront him, but as soon as he saw me go for the door he got in his car and drove off. I was so rattled I called in sick to work and called the police. They said I was probably being scouted for a burglary, which made sense. I had my brother-in-law come down and stay with my wife to help comfort her, and I went and bought a Ring camera set. After we settled down everything seemed to go back to normal until Sunday. I was watching the Chiefs-Browns game when the same man peeked through my front window and stared at me and started laughing. I quickly went to grab my gun, but when I turned around he was gone. I called the police and they took the Ring footage to try and track him down. Me and my wife decided to stay with family until it's solved. Everything seems to be normal, right? Then last night at 2 a.m. I get a call from an unknown number asking if I am home. I ask who this is and they hang up. I notify the police, but they say there is little they can do. I really love the neighborhood besides this and I don't want to quit my job, but I am just pondering moving out of state and changing numbers. I have a baby on the way and can't take my family's safety for granted. Is there absolutely any advice you guys could give me, help guide me through this? Thanks and God bless. This post startled many Redditors, each one of them sharing their opinion. One Redditor in particular came with many ideas about what the creepy person might want. He suggested that the person couldn't logically be a burglar, because this person wanted confrontation, which would not be a normal behavior for a burglar. That person obviously wants the OP to know he is there, and he is always watching him. But why? The Redditor came with the suggestion that the person might be bitter about the house sale. He also suggested borrowing a big dog, getting a camera, going to the phone company, maybe they could figure something out, and getting motion-activated floodlights. Another suggestion is that the person might be mentally ill. The Redditor also updated us with an edit, telling us that this seems way too personal, with his phone number being called. OP answered and he said that he asked the neighbors and they told him that the previous owners were a friendly young couple. However, the OP told us that there was a conflict between him and another person when he bought the house. He also gave us some insight, telling us his wife is a successful businesswoman and that she ran as a Democrat in a conservative-type town. A few days after posting, the OP came back with an update. Creepy stranger won't leave me alone update. Thank you all. So about 2 weeks ago I posted in this subreddit about my creepy experiences. Basically a man started harassing me and my pregnant wife at our house. Anyway, one Redditor asked about my wife's occupation, and if maybe it can get us some hate. That turned out to be true. My wife is a councilwoman in a really conservative town, and she is the only Democrat politician of any kind in the region. I took all of your advice, I bought a total of 18 cameras, bought my wife a handgun, and reported my suspicion to the cops. After analysis of our Ring video camera footage of the man, they found him. Apparently he is a member of some alt-right group called a Groyper? I've never heard of them, but I guess they are very popular in our state. Anyway, thanks to you all, me and my wife get to welcome home our baby girl Thursday, with no fear of that creep anymore. God bless you all. Happy end to a creepy story, right? Well, it doesn't seem to be the end. "12 days ago the user posted this. Peculiar visit from FBI. So please know this isn't my visit, this was at my good friend's while I was there. I'm just here for advice. Through my experience this sub is full of it. So around 3:30 this afternoon my good friend was visited in his garage by the FBI while we were working on his old truck. The agents asked him if he had done anything that would get him a negative reputation through our town. He repeatedly said no, and the response would be, "Think real hard now. What have you done recently, Mr. John Doe, that would make you get some negative publicity?" This went on for a bit till my friend said he had no clue what they were talking about. The agents then stated there are some bad people that have my friend at the top of their lists, and that if he wanted to stay safe they advised him not to engage with any of them again. He then got a worried look on his face and said okay and thank you. He then asked me to leave. I have no clue what happened and am still trying to process. I find it so weird because we are co-workers and I am around him like 12 hours a day, so I think I would notice if he was into some bad stuff, but I guess not. Does anyone have an informed guess on what might be happening to my friend? And who these people might be? Thanks. Everyone in the comments was certain about one thing. This is not how the FBI usually acts. They aren't usually threatening. The fact that they wouldn't even specify what negative publicity they were talking about and that they are giving a warning about something that does not really have to do with law enforcement was really suspicious. Redditors were thinking that those might not be a part of the FBI after all. There's something threatening about this visit, and the FBI isn't usually threatening. Warning a person to stay away from some unnamed people who supposedly have a grudge against him. Refusing to specify what negative publicity they're talking about. Even if your friend knew exactly what it was about, them refusing to get specific is very suspicious. Seems pretty bullshitty to me. Either those weren't FBI, or they're on the take and giving your coworker a warning that doesn't really have anything to do with law enforcement. It might be worth a call to your local field office to ask if anybody paid a visit to your workplace yesterday, just to make sure. Edit. After reviewing, maybe the discussion on specifics happened after you left. When I read it the first time it seemed like they left first and then you. One person in particular said that this could be an interrogation tactic, assuming this was the actual FBI and not some random people pretending to be FBI agents. This is my guess. The FBI got some anonymous tip-off about your friend, and were trying to get him to admit any information he could possibly know about the topic. It's a common interrogation tactic to not get into any specifics about the topic, crime, and instead have the interrogee admit any wrongdoings themselves rather than asking yes, no questions. Not sure why they would interrogate your friend in his garage in the middle of the day, but I also don't know much about how the FBI operates. I feel like, being such a private organization, if they were to casually interrogate someone, they would do it outside of any headquarters they have, and also be as vague as possible to not leak any information. And if your friend is truly innocent of anything that would get him in trouble with the FBI, it could just be a completely false tip-off. The putting him on the top of the list of some bad people seems a bit extreme, so could be a scare tactic to get him to admit anything, but that seems like a stretch, as I doubt making up a complete lie to scare someone is an ethical interrogation tactic. But one again, I have no idea how the FBI operates law. But the most interesting of them all was the one that might link the incidents that happened to OP and this incident. Hi Op. I've seen your last post on RBI about you and your wife being harassed in your home and it ending up being a guy from an alt-right group. Those cult alt-right groups are, for lack of better terms, crazy, and I'm wondering if this incident can be related. Especially since you and your coworker friend spend so much time together, and you got one of their alt-right members, friends, in trouble with cops. They could be looking for revenge. How does your friend know it was a real FBI agent? Do they live close to you, where you were previously harassed? Some Redditors were also thinking that the story might be a hoax. After all, it is up to you to decide what you think about this series of posts. I will keep you updated since this is an ongoing story. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe. See you in the next one.